Now if you know me, then you know I'm a huge fan of horrorcore rap, so the content of Eminem and Bizarre's lyrics on this track are not the reason why I don't like it. I actually love shock value lyrics, as it sheds light on the harsh realities of the world. The main thing I don't like about this song is Eminem's screaming flows throughout this track. The chorus on this song is incredibly annoying, as Eminem's delivery isn't appealing in the slightest. I also don't like when Eminem has a shouting flow in general, which is the big reason I don't care for the song the way I am. The lyrics to this track consist of Eminem and Bizarre talking about a place called Amityville, which you don't want to visit, as it consists of brutally murdering and torturing those who enter. The content in Bizarre's lyrics is great, as it has the ability to shock the listener, which is the point, but there are better examples of Bizarre doing this on other songs he's featured on. His delivery is really dry on this track, which makes his verse not interesting to listen to. This song is sonically bad to me on every level, and is definitely the worst song from Eminem's classic album, the Marshall Mathers LP.
Shrink, pencil me in for my last visit. Drink gin to my tins full of splash. You're just jealous of me cause you just can't do what I do. So instead of just admitting it, you walk around.
There's absolutely nothing enjoyable about Eminem's performance on this song. The instrumental sounds like a Dr. Dre throwaway beat, as it doesn't have anything to offer. The reason I say this is because it's very dull, and although I like the gangster vibe of it, it's very simplistic. The concept of this song is actually pretty good, but it gets lost when Eminem raps his verses, as his lyrics are all over the place. Another thing about this track is that it comes from one of his worst albums, Encore, which consisted of him showcasing a ton of unamusing flows that consist of a ton of different accents. When Eminem raps with an accent, it's terrible to me about 99% of the time, as it's almost never sonically appealing. This song is no exception, as he raps with a terrible accent throughout. This song has another horrible chorus, which is due to the sound of Eminem's voice. His verses are the worst thing about this track, as it seems like it's hard for him to complete a clear thought about people who envy him. The third verse is a perfect example of this, as he concludes the song by saying, "Being a big meanie shrinks your weenie."
You say mean things, your weenie will shrink.
Yeah, with lyrics like that, this is definitely one of Eminem's worst songs.
Tearing at your flesh with it, till your larynx and neck is split, with these lyrics weapons expert with, like.
This song holds one of Eminem's worst flows, as there's nothing about it that's sonically enjoyable. Now what I will say is that I commend him for being unique with his flows, but it doesn't translate to good music most of the time. One thing I always come across when I'm talking to Eminem fans is that they seem to only focus on one aspect when it comes to Eminem, which are his lyrics. In my opinion, I feel like Eminem is definitely one of the most lyrical rappers in the game, but having good lyrics that consist of metaphors and punchlines doesn't automatically mean that a song is going to be sonically enjoyable. The key word is sonically, which is what music is based off of. Music is supposed to sound good, not just saying a bunch of clever lyrics over a beat. With that being said, the way Eminem puts his lyrics together on this song is pretty good, as he basically talks about how he's better than his peers. Just like I said before, his flow is terrible on this song, as he stutters at certain moments in his verse, and his voice also gets very high, which leads to him shouting his verses, which doesn't sound appealing to my ears at all. The funny thing about this is, while I was listening to the album Revival, the track before this song consists of the same stuttering flow, which means that Eminem provided terrible flows back to back. This is most definitely one of Eminem's worst songs, as there's nothing about it that's sonically enjoyable. The instrumental is boring, and the featured artist Fresher couldn't save this song if he wanted to.
Getting is not, insidious not. Girl, you know you got the prettiest eyes, but all you're getting is bright. Any of your letters.
Who can catch lightning in the bottle? Set fire to water coming out the nozzle on the fire hose. Quiet and swat.
This song is one of the worst cases of Eminem providing his shouting flow. One thing I noticed about Eminem is that it seems like he's mistaking a passionate performance with yelling. I feel like he was going for that passionate performance on this song, which led to him not realizing that he's just screaming. This is the main issue that I have with Eminem, as his flows are unappealing for the most part. I have no issue with his lyrics on this track, as they're highly motivational. Eminem talks about building yourself up through all the scrutiny you may face. But just as I said before, lyrics are not the only factor that makes a song good, as it has to sonically sound enjoyable on all levels. The main thing that makes this one of Eminem's worst songs is his unamusing screaming hype flow.
Keep winking and blowing kisses cause you're flirting with death. I'm destroying your livelihood, I ain't just hurting your rep. This was supposed to be my first single, but I just got off so.
This track holds one of the worst beats I've ever heard in the genre. The sound of the instrumental is unbearable due to the horrible sound of the snare. The snares on this track sound like a clapping sound effect that's extremely staticky. This also makes it hard to hear Eminem's verses. I can barely understand what he's saying, but when I do understand him, he's making some sort of weird sound effect. The concept of this track is actually good, as it implies that this song was supposed to be Eminem's first single. The chorus is actually kinda catchy, and the lyrics do a great job reflecting the concept. But the horrible instrumental and Eminem's hard to hear verses is what makes this one of Eminem's worst songs of all time.
My mom loved Valium and lots of drugs. That's why
This is another track that involves Eminem presenting horrible accents. This was very known on the album Relapse, and it's the main reason why I didn't like that album. Ironically, Eminem knows that the concept of this track is bad, as he tells the listener that he knows that they're tired of hearing about how his mom negatively influenced him. While I was listening to this song, I couldn't do nothing but agree, as he's used this concept tons of times in his music up to this point. As a listener, I asked myself, how many more times can this dude talk about how horrible his mother was? The way that he did it in this song is unappealing, as there isn't an instance on this track where his flow sounds good. His flow is so bad on this song that it makes it hard to enjoy it. Well, if you're one of those hip-hop listeners that only care about lyrics, you're gonna love this song. But just as I said before, lyrics are not enough for me to determine if a song is good, as it has to sonically sound enjoyable all around. The instrumental on this track isn't bad, but it isn't anything special either. Now that I mentioned this, one of the critiques that I always get when it comes to my thoughts on the album Relapse is that the production is amazing. I wouldn't go as far as to say that the production is amazing, as I heard far more better beats on other albums. And I don't care that Dr. Dre produced most of the instrumentals on Relapse. Just because it's Dr. Dre doesn't mean that it's automatically gonna be amazing. Dr. Dre has a lot of lackluster instrumentals in my opinion, with the perfect example being the boring production on the Firm album. That album was certainly not one of his best works. And before y'all get in the comments and say I'm tripping, I've never heard anyone say that Dr. Dre's production on the Firm was phenomenal, so don't start saying that bullshit now. But just as I said before, I don't think his production was necessarily bad on Relapse, but it isn't anything phenomenal either. All in all, this is a terrible song, mainly due to Eminem's unamusing flow.
child support, your father, he ain't shit the shit. And so what if he did? It's none of your dang business, kid. My mom.
You're such a nice guy, you're faithful.
The worst thing about this song is definitely the singing and rapping performance from the featured artist Jessie Reyez. The way she sings sounds terrible, as her voice isn't sonically appealing at all. If I had to explain how she sounds, she honestly sounds like a cartoon character on serious drugs. Eminem's performance isn't anything to write home about, as he doesn't do anything spectacular. The chorus is hands down the worst thing on this song, which is about Eminem referring to himself as a nice guy. He does this in a sarcastic way, as he really isn't a nice guy due to his actions. When this is said on the chorus, there is a moment where Jessie Reyez says psych, and it just sounds terrible. Another thing that's lackluster about this song is the instrumental, as it's very simplistic.
I'm not a cheater, but if I'ma be accused, might as well be. You tell me. Act like a 2-year-old. Shit is soon to go kaboom and blow anyways. For MCs, it's a funeral when I'm devising.
The instrumental is very sloppy on this track. The sloppiness of the instrumental transfers into Eminem's overall style, which is all over the place. It sounds like a mess, and it isn't enjoyable to listen to. This also affects the singing performance of Kehlani. Although Revival is one of Eminem's worst albums, I like the concepts overall, as Eminem addressed several topics. This is sort of an inspirational track, as Eminem states that although he works hard, it feels like it leads to nowhere. But even though this is the case, he's still going to push through. But the inspirational concept can't save this track from being bad, as it's sonically unappealing.
War machine, but you forced me in the corner. I'm sure to have something for your ear. And in the course of the assault, you wouldn't catch a body if it fainted. Probably let it fall and hit the pavement, but you'd be the first lobbying to claim it.
This is one of the hardest Eminem tracks that I had to get through. The runtime is absolutely absurd, as he presents unamusing flows for 5 minutes straight. This is honestly torture, as none of his showings are enjoyable to listen to. I will commend the fact that Eminem has the ability to switch up his flow, but the way he delivers them are oftentimes bad. His style comes off as being overambitious, as he's trying to prove to the listener that he's a top MC. I always get this feeling when it comes to Eminem's later projects. The reason why I feel this way is because when it comes to his older albums, flows. He didn't need to put so much emphasis on the fact that he can provide multiple flows and well-structured lyrics. It came off more natural on the Slim Shady LP and the Marshall Mathers LP, which can't be said for Relapse to Revival. This is also one of those tracks that I think appeals to people who only care about the technical side of rap because they can't care about the sonically enjoyable side of it, as this song doesn't have any enjoyability when it comes to that aspect. This is definitely an Eminem song, can't play in the whip, as he's not trying to make the listener vibe, he just wants the listener to understand that he's a true MC, which is crazy, as you can do two things at once, which later Eminem fails to understand.
Going ham and candy yam on nanny cam. I'm getting handies with the sandies annies and the caddy armrest. I'm imagining objects, so I'm batting cop.
Because the devil, it's attack of the rain man. Chainsaw in hand, blood stain on my apron. Soon as
this track was a big missed opportunity, as the concept is really good. Eminem and Dr. Dre come together for old time's sake, which leads to them reminiscing on the things they did back in the day. The main thing is them collabing together on a song, with Dr. Dre producing the beat and Eminem rapping over it. This song reminds me of the classic track they did together called Forgot About Dre. With that being said, the instrumental is good, but it isn't anything phenomenal like the Relapse fans would say. Now that I said this, I want to talk about how people who are die-hard fans of the album Relapse overrate it to the highest degree. There are countless videos on YouTube that call this album a masterpiece, and I highly disagree. Now, I don't have an issue with anyone thinking that this album is a masterpiece, but trying to convince others that it's a masterpiece when they don't think so themselves is where I have an issue. I've listened to each song on this album a good 10 to 12 times, and every time I hear the songs from this project, I don't see the genius in Eminem's style or lyrics. This isn't me saying that his lyrics are bad, but his style most certainly is. His lyrics didn't blow me away like other people. This could be because I'm someone that's not fascinated with the technical side of rap, and before anyone says that me having this standard means that I don't know anything about hip-hop, you're telling an absolute lie. Hip-hop didn't start with technical rhyme schemes, it started with simply enjoying the music. But with that being said, Relapse overall is not a sonically enjoyable album due to the way Eminem raps. This song is no exception, as he provides an unamusing flow on this track, which consists of him providing his signature weird accents. I have no issue with rappers being animated within their music, but it has to sound good to me, and Eminem's performance on this song doesn't sound good. His accents are terrible, and there are certain moments where he gets extremely animated, which just sounds downright horrible. Dr. Dre's performance on this song is supremely mediocre. It honestly sounds like he's bored to rap on this track. This is another issue I have with this song, as there is no real chemistry between Dr. Dre and Eminem, as their styles are completely different, and Dr. Dre seems unenthused.
come on, smoke me out, buzz. Give me contact buzz. Get me on track. They love me when I'm on that stuff. You don't know how sick you make me.
One important thing that I forgot to mention about the album Encore is that it has 4 bad songs straight. This song is definitely one of those bad songs, as it's another instance where Eminem provides another unamusing rap style. I hate how he pronounces his words on this track, as he sounds like a baby teasing someone. Now this makes sense, as the concept of this song is about how much he hates his girlfriend. He hates her so much to the point where it makes him sick every time she's in his presence. When he recites this on the chorus, it's his worst performance on this song, as he combines his baby teasing flow with one of his terrible accents. The way he recites it is incredibly annoying as well. He has an unamusing flow throughout this track, and the instrumental sounds like another Dr. Dre throwaway beat, as there isn't anything special about it.
Must just not know. You find me offensive, I find you offensive for finding me offensive. Hence if I
This is one of the worst nonsensical songs I've ever heard in my life. The fact that this track came from a mainstream artist blows me away. This is also another song from the Encore album that's a part of that consistently bad track section. Rain Man might be the worst song out of the bunch, as Eminem not only provides an unamusing performance, but his lyrics are terrible. It's just a bunch of random things about sex and how he's possessed by a demon named Rain Man. I like what he says at the end of this track, as even he knows that this song is nonsensical, as he states that he's just made a song and didn't say anything.
I just did a whole song and I didn't say shit.
He's exactly correct, as nothing on this song makes any sense. Now the crazy thing about this is that I'm someone who isn't really big on concepts of a song. The reason I say this is because I just want to be entertained, and it doesn't matter what the rapper is rapping about. Eminem could have had this same exact concept, but if the song was sonically enjoyable, it would be a good song in my opinion. But sadly, sadly this wasn't the case, as he provides those terrible accents along with bad flows. This is also another instrumental that was produced by Dr. Dre, and I'm honestly starting to question his ability to make dope beats. I'm not saying that the beat on this song is terrible, but it's definitely most certainly mediocre. Like, is this dude Dr. Dre really in the top 5 conversation when it comes to producers? I don't think so, especially if he produced beats like Rain Man.
Straight back to the Neverland Ranch with a peanut butter jelly chicken tuna sandwich.
Puke Skywalker, but sound like Chewbacca when I talk. Full of such blind rage, I need to see an eye dog. Can't even find the page.
This is another song where I believe Eminem mistakes yelling and screaming for passion. Now, of course, I'm saying this as a joke, as he can truly be passionate on this song due to the topic. He basically raps about how much he despises his father, which is a relatable topic for many people. Eminem's issues with his dad mainly has to do with neglect, as he wasn't there for him. So much to the point where Eminem doesn't even know who his father is. This leads to him rapping about how much he hates him, and he even talks about the things he'll do to him if he were to see him. Not only does Eminem provide an unamusing yelling and screaming flow, but he's also animated in this song, which leads to him switching how his voice sounds at certain moments. In the beginning of this track, he literally sounded like a Sesame Street character at one point, which sounded absolutely horrible.
Your music usually has them, but waiting for the game, your enthusiasm it has them.
He did this throughout this track, and it adds to the horrible nature of it. Another flaw in this song is the runtime. If this song was like 2 or 3 minutes, that'll be cool, but the fact that this song is 5 minutes, and I had to sit and listen to Eminem provide these horrible flows throughout this track, was undeniably some serious torture.
Puke Skywalker, but sound like Chewbacca when I talk. Full of such blind rage, I need to see an eye dog. Can't even find the. You never told me you knew Dre. Can't Lupe? You wanna lose 2 legs? You trying to flip this on me?
It's funny that this track is next on this list, as it also appears on his album Marshall Mathers LP 2. It's also the next track from the previous song Rhyme or Reason on the album, and both of them are terrible songs. The topic of this track is reminiscent of the song Puke, as Eminem talks about how much a girl makes him sick. It will be better if she just dropped dead, as it will relieve all of the stress that he has from dealing with her. This is yet another song where Eminem provides an unamusing flow throughout. His flow is unorthodox, but not in a good way, as it's all over the place. He also does his weird voice switches on this track, but he cranks it to the max, which leads to him sounding like a cartoon character. While I was listening to Eminem's entire discography and got around to this album, I asked myself, does he make these songs bad on purpose? Because there is no way that he recorded this track, listened to it, and then okayed it. But not only him, the people around him. Who are these people in the studio that are working with Eminem? Because y'all really sat there and thought that this song was good. But not only this song, I can say this for a lot of his tracks, as there's nothing enjoyable about it other than if someone only cares about lyrics. But just as I said for the 100th time, good lyrics does not mean that a song is going to automatically be good. It has to sonically sound enjoyable. I'm definitely going to continue to drill this in your head because I'm often criticized for having this opinion, but it's an opinion I'm going to always have, as music is about sound, and if I don't like how something sounds, I'm not going to like it. This is another clear case of a song not being good from Eminem due to the way he flows throughout the track.
I hope you hear this song and go into a cardiac arrest. My life would be so much better.
Soon as my flow starts, I compose art like the ghost of Mozart. Even though they all say that.
While I was on my journey listening to Eminem's entire discography, I had no idea that this song was praised so much. When I listened to this song over and over, it wasn't sonically enjoyable at all due to the sound of Eminem's voice, which is a common thing that determines if I like an Eminem song or not. He provides the same unamusing flows, just as he did on a multitude of tracks that appeared in this video. The reason why this song is regarded as one of his best is because of the technical side of it. Now, I'm not denying that Eminem is a very technical rapper, but being technical doesn't equate to being good. A perfect example people use when it comes to this track is the fact that Eminem showcased immense skill on the second verse. The way he rhymes his syllables together is really good, and the rhyme scheme is very impressive. The concept of this track involves him taking the listener through his dark mind of fantasizing about killing and sexually assaulting women. But just as I said before, the song overall doesn't sound good due to his unamusing flow. Although the second verse involves him putting his lyrics together perfectly, the way he recites those lyrics doesn't sound good to my ears. This song is on the same level as the horrible tracks from Encore, as it consists of an unamusing style from Eminem that involves him putting on a horrible accent. Another element of this track that I don't like is the intensity of his flow. Now, I don't have an issue with intense flows in general, but it doesn't work on this track as it's stacked with the unamusing sound of his voice. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm about to say. I'm not trying to convince you that this song is bad. If you're someone that loves the technical side of rap, I have nothing against that, but I always have an issue issue when people try to tell me that I don't understand something, which is the reason why I think it's bad. No, I perfectly understand what's going on, and I never denied Eminem's skill. My biggest issue with Eminem has always been his inability to make enjoyable music, and this is another song that's not sonically enjoyable. I don't care about how technical it is. It's a song that I'll never go back to, and I'm definitely not bumping it in the whip.
Impregnate a lesbian, yeah, now let's see her have triplets and Nilda. Celebrate them babies as soon as they're out.
In your walkway, better cooperate, or get sauteed, and rotisserie while you're hog tied.
MCs get so quiet.
This is hands down one of Eminem's worst performances. Just as I said before, I'm not a fan of his yelling flow, and on this track, he yells his loudest. His screaming flow doesn't sound good at all, which leads to yet another track not sonically sounding appealing to me. His delivery on this track is also very intense, which adds to the horrible nature of his style. I also believe that the name of this track is fitting for the concept, as I have no idea what Eminem is talking about. It just seems like he's saying a bunch of random stuff in order to shock the listener. His lyrics consist of a lot of violence and murder, which I most definitely don't have an issue with, as I'm someone that likes that type of stuff. But this song leads to nothing other than someone providing an extremely annoying rap style.
Never think of this shit. Yeah, honey, you called. Well, here I come, havoc on the beat. I wreak it. Evil I see here. Black boy, we ain't gonna lie to you. Black boy, we don't like the sight of you.
Eminem continues to provide very unamusing flows that have no enjoyability. His flow on this track is unorthodox, loud, and obnoxious. The concept is extremely corny to me, and I don't agree with his sentiments fully. Eminem talks about how black people are mistreated in this country. I agree with this somewhat, but he makes it seem like it's completely terrible for black Americans, and it's not. It just feels like he's trying to get cool points with this song. Now, one thing I gotta tell you guys is that I usually don't rank the songs when it comes to these lists. If you noticed, all the songs that appear in this video are in alphabetical order, and this just happens to be the last song that I think is Eminem's absolute worst. But I honestly think that this may be Eminem's worst song of all time, as the concept is extremely corny, as it sounds like he's trying to pander, and on top of that, he provides yet another unamusing rap style. Another flaw on this track is the runtime. 6 whole minutes of terrible rap flows and cringy lyrics definitely makes this Eminem's worst song.
Black boy, we don't get your culture and we don't care what our government's done to f you over, man.